What is going on, bros? It is I, T-Shroom here, in for the Investing Bros. We're going to be taking a deep dive into a couple of altcoins. We usually don't do this because this is mostly a news show, but we've been all over the place this week. We've been on the charts more than we're used to, and today we're going to get into the altcoins a little bit. Going to have a little fun there. Before we get any further, though, let's go ahead and jump on into the Bitcoin chart here. The Bitcoin chart is showing us kind of exactly what I was afraid of, which is that we were not able to get up above this line here, this downtrending line of support, which is actually the neckline of an inverse head and shoulders, as we pointed out yesterday on the 3 p.m. stream. But we weren't able to put in a higher high here. As you can see, this wick back here was up at 68,900, and the wicks recently were only able to get up to 68,100. Okay, so that's a lower high, and because of that, we got rejected. Now the hope is that we find some support, and then we come and make a second shoulder here, and then this, I've already got it drawn out here for you. This correlates to this. It actually correlates down to the wick, down to the neckline here, as you can see. And then if you draw it out, you'd get a price prediction around 76,000. So is that exact? Is that precisely where price is going? No, right? But that's an idea of if this inverse head and shoulders were to break out, where we could expect price to potentially move up to. And ding, 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 that would be an all-time high, and certainly a 2024 high. So that's very exciting to see. Unfortunately, though, if we kind of clear all that away and we forget about the inverse head and shoulders, and we assume that it won't play out, which I'm not assuming that in my own trading, right? I'm just assuming that for the sake of playing devil's advocate, which is a colloquialism we have here in the United States, which means I'm gonna think about the worst case scenario, or I'm gonna think about the case scenario that I don't want to happen but could happen, right? Devil's advocate. You're welcome. You're welcome, world. You understand America a little more. All right, now we're trading below the midline of the Bollinger Band on the 4-hour. Now, I'll jump out to the daily really quickly because I do want to see how we've been trading, yeah. So you can kind of see that the midline of the Bollinger Band has not played as an exact level of resistance, but as you can see, we've not been able to print a candlestick above that since back in March 18th. Not too long ago, but a significant amount of time that Bitcoin has not been able to push up above there, right? So let's look at the Lux Algo matrix here. Yeah, so you don't want this. You don't want the money flow to continue to go down, and you don't want your hyperwave to be below the 50 line, right? Those are both bearish, and there's not a lot of candy really. The little bit of candy that there is are 2 delta reversals, right? But those are pretty old at this point. And pretty irrelevant. So back down on the 4-hour here for Bitcoin, you can see, I think that there is going to be more of a test lower here. My feeling is that although there is the inverse head and shoulders, something is telling me that we are going to continue to go to the downside, and that something is the hyperwave breaking back below the 50 line, right? Now what is bullish here on the 4-hour is that the money flow is positive. Money flow is starting to move positive, which is bullish. But overall here, especially if we don't get this inverse head and shoulders to play out, I do think that we have more price discovery to the downside, putting in potentially a lower low, right? And Tim and I have been kind of calling for 58. He likes 57 for Bitcoin to come down and touch. I mean, I like 58 because it kind of coincides here with the top of the golden pocket here, the 0.65. But I think somewhere in between that golden pocket is also possible for Bitcoin to come in and touch, for sure. And 57 is in there. So there you go. That's a little bit of a Bitcoin TA. There hasn't been a whole lot changed since yesterday, other than, we broke back down through the midline of the Bollinger Band for the 4-hour. Let's go ahead and take a look at Avax, because Avax had a head and shoulders yesterday. There you go. You can see it drawn out here. And that has actually not played out at all. So it's actually gotten a bit higher, breaking through that Bollinger Band. wicking through the midline of the Bollinger Band, but not printing through. So this could potentially be kind of a bull trap here, trying to trap some bulls before a move lower. And if you measure it to the neckline, you get a breakout of about down to 35%. 35%. $35 per coin. Okay. Which also coincides with this wick low here. Do I think that Avax has to go down that low? No. Right? But this is just what the Head and Shoulders is predicting. Now, predicting isn't the right word. This is what the Head and Shoulders is indicating is a possibility for the charts. Right? This is Head and Shoulders is a chart pattern, right? That traders can look and see and say, hey, this is telling me that this is bearish. Every time that this has manifested on a chart, it can be bearish, right? So that's AVAX. We're wanting to, anytime there's a Head and Shoulders, we want to monitor that if it's in the top 100 coins. Let's take a look here at Ethereum. So Ethereum, Ethereum on the 4-hour looking a little more bullish. Yeah, because it could bounce here on the midline of the Bollinger Band and make a move higher. But if it slices through, that's going to be no bueno. But the fact that it's been able to persist and print above the midline is very bullish to me. In contrast, Bitcoin has printed now below this morning. So Ethereum looking ever so slightly more bullish. Let's see the MACD. Kind of signaling the beginnings of a bear cross and waning green histograms. So as you can see, like there are some signs of bullishness in the top two cryptos, but in my opinion, even like despite the inverse Head and Shoulders that's brewing on Bitcoin, despite that, I think that we are in for a bit more price discovery to the downside. And why? Why you might ask? Why does it have to be this way, T-Shroom? Why must we go on to the downside? Well, it really just has to do with this movement higher. Right? This movement higher has just been so aggressive, and there really weren't very many pullbacks, and now we're finally getting a pullback, and we're trying to see, do we resume higher from here? Was this enough of a pullback, or do we need to test lower? Right? Do we need to test lower? Do we need to burn more of the forest so that a future forest can grow after it? Well, that's going to be our chart analysis, our chart gazing section for today. So far, nothing is even coming close to telling me that I need to sell my Ethereum or my Bitcoin, right? Even though they have depreciated versus the highs that they were making earlier this month, right? There's nothing in the news or on the charts so far that are telling me that I need to go ahead and sell. Which, by the way, guys, we're looking at altcoins today because there's very, very, very little news. Okay, there is I think one headline that'll cover here, but most of the news already happened this week. It's just a big tussle between Wall Street, right? BlackRock versus Vanguard and JP Morgan, right? At least with the JP Morgan of what they say. JP Morgan's mouth, not their hands, right? Because we know JP Morgan is well invested in crypto, and so is Vanguard. But that's probably more of a hedge for JP Morgan and Vanguard, especially Vanguard, and they really want to use Washington to try to stifle crypto, and their main henchman of doing that is going to be Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren. Can you draw a direct line between Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren and Vanguard? No, right? Unless you look at the campaign donations for Elizabeth Warren. So that's something to keep in mind. But all of this illustrates the fact that there's not a lot of news today because the big news has already come out. BlackRock coming out and being like, yo, Ethereum's going to go crazy because we're tokenizing everything on Ethereum. So Ethereum is buoyed, right? And you saw on the charts, it's a little bit more bullish than Bitcoin today. A little bit. But, then you have all the FUD that comes out from the SEC investigating the Ethereum Foundation and on and on and on. But in reality, these things will likely wash out and the market will realize we do not care as much if there is an Ethereum ETF or not, right? We didn't buy Ethereum for the ETF. We bought it for its Web3 potential, the future of the internet, the future of truth, right? That might be a little bit exaggerated for some of you who are fans of other blockchains like Cardano or Avax or BNB or something that you think truth is is more sustainable there. Guys, if there's a blockchain, it's an insane improvement compared to what we had before with the SWIFT system, with the international global traditional financial system. So, yeah, does Ethereum have its flaws? It does. But overall, it's a huge improvement on what we had before. Yeah. So ultimately, all the news is kind of here. We already know about the big ones. The big headlines have already been, I would say, even digested by the media. And the big thing is, are we going to get this Ethereum ETF or not? It's looking like not, but Ethereum is not selling off all that much. So, it's kind of just a wait and see. There's nothing structurally that's changed. If the SEC even gets Ethereum across the finish line of categorizing it as a security, it's not even really clear what even happens then. So let's keep moving, because there is a bullish story here about Ethereum. Google leverages Etherscan for Ethereum name service integration. We're going to get into these altcoins here as well, but just really quickly, with Google's integration of Etherscan, users can now access enhanced details regarding Ethereum's transactions. This includes the ability to reach ENS domains and view wallet balances associated with blockchain addresses. The data is sourced from Etherscan and reflects the last external transaction. Right, so you can kind of see here, through the Google search, you're able to go ahead and pull some information from Etherscan, right, which is useful. And it could even be interpreted, because of the timing here of Google, right, of maybe even the tech bros in general, of Silicon Valley establishment, as kind of casting their lot with Ethereum, right, and alongside BlackRock, right, alongside all the crypto bros and everybody, alongside, McHenry and other, Washington folks, in contrast to, right, Gary Gensler, the SEC, by way of Vanguard and the part of Wall Street that isn't all that interested in being replaced by crypto. All right, moving along here, let's get into some of these altcoins now. Yeah, we're about halfway through the show, so we're going to get to the altcoins right about now. But before we do, guys, we hit 10,000 subscribers yesterday. It was really, really exciting. We shared the moment with you all live on the 3 p.m. show, and we absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for everybody who has subscribed. If you are not yet subscribed, let me tell you a little bit about why you might consider doing just that. Here on the Investing Bros, we strive to keep you abreast, keep you up to date on everything that is happening in crypto that may affect your portfolio. Every single day, there's probably 400 or 500 headlines that hit crypto media websites and channels and things like that. I personally sift through all of that information, and I try to bring to you what is the most important. You'll notice that I haven't really brought you any headlines today. I brought you this one, right, about Google leveraging Etherscan for Ethereum name service integration. Is that a big headline? It's not a big headline, right? But in the context of what went on this week, it may have some significance, and I speculated on that, right? But overall, there's tons of headlines. You go on CoinDesk right now, you go on Decrypt, right? You go on a lot of different things, a lot of different crypto media outlets. There's tons of headlines. Well, what are those headlines? Those headlines are not that important to you, right? As a crypto investor. What headlines are important to you are what we bring you here on the Investing Bros. Are there other channels that do a good job of reporting the news? Absolutely, right? But here in Investing Bros, we are also building a community that you can join on Discord, and you can subscribe here, and that is something that you absolutely should do, is subscribe to the Investing Bros to stay in with all of the crypto happenings that matter to your crypto portfolio. We don't want to overwhelm you with a bunch of needless stuff that you don't need to know. We just cut right to the facts, right to the important stuff, as I'll do right now. And go ahead and get into these altcoins. So AIOZ is a network partner with Alibaba Cloud to boost AI storage and streaming services. If you don't know what Alibaba is, it's kind of like Amazon for a lot of the world that doesn't have Amazon, right? Alibaba. It's kind of the Chinese Amazon in a sense. The two companies will establish a DePIN alliance in Southeast Asia. AIOZ, which I kind of like to call AIOZ. I don't know if you guys know about Oz, the Wizard of Oz. But AIOZ native token is currently trading flat. Over the announcement, it is up by more than 200% in the last 30 days. AIOZ network will use Alibaba Cloud to improve Web3 AI storage and streaming services. So this has a lot of promise because of this partnership, right? Now, is this something that you should go out and buy right now? Well, it could be. It could be a good idea to do that because if you don't have any exposure at all, it might be a good idea. Now, what I'll say is I don't have any exposure to this coin at all, right? And that's good. That's very helpful for you to know. When I say I don't have any exposure, that means I don't own any, right? This is just something that's coming across my desk today that I think is actually pretty decent looking because of that partnership with Alibaba. So if we look at the charts, let's actually go out to the daily chart here. If we go out to the charts, you can see that this has had a very big run very recently, right? So this run started here in March 6th. So it started in early March, and it got up to, goodness gracious, 360% move to the upside. That's a big move, right? What goes up must come down. So my guess is that this is probably going to at least come back and test the midline of the Bollinger Band, which would be a 26% sell-off down to 65 cents. Now, T-Shroom, I thought you were saying that this is a hot altcoin. I thought you said that this is something that is bullish because of its partnership with Alibaba. Why would you say it's going down in price? Okay. It's a little thing called a hype cycle, right? And there's nothing wrong with a hype cycle. I don't say that pejoratively. I don't say that because it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's a phenomenon, right? Something else that could indicate potential bearishness is this looming bearish cross, right? When the blue line crosses over the orange line, as has happened here, what does that do? It indicates a movement lower. And here, in correlation with that bear cross, you got a 29% pullback. Very similar to what I just called here, 29, dang, very close, 28% pullback to the midline of the Bollinger Band. That's at least, though, that kind of a move. So what do you do with this, T-Shroom? When I'm watching you, I'm tuning in, I'm subscribed. What do I do with this information? You sit on it, right? You put it in a watch list, right? With Coin Market Cap, you can create watch lists here. Just make a watch list, and you can add this coin to that watch list and just monitor it. Like, every Monday, just check in on your watch list. And what you're looking for is a move lower, right? Because a lot of people got into this coin here, right? They saw that it was going up. They heard about it. They went out and bought it, right? But now they're running low on cash, and they're going to have to go pay rent, right? So they're going to have to sell AIOZ, not because it's a bad project. It's not. It clearly isn't. It just got a partnership with Alibaba, right? It's a good project. Have I done all the research on how sound the tokenomics are? I have not, right? That's something that you need to do your own research on. I only have so much time in this show. But what you're looking for is a move where it might even go a little higher from here, but you're looking for a move lower to test the midline of the Bollinger Band right here. Now, there's a good chance that if it actually does that, and it does correct, that it'll go lower, right? And then you're starting to ask yourself, okay, well, how low can this go? And that's where you tune into the Investing Bros, and we'll tell you, right? I mean, kinda, but you can also use other tools. You could use the trend-based Fibonacci extension, right? And you could do something like this, where you can go to the high and then the new low, right? And then this can kind of give you some levels. Wow, that played really, really well on the 1.61. So it's found a lot of support there. So that might be a good line of support here to look at, right? But overall, you're asking, what can this do? How low can it go? I mean, a lot of times something will come down to the golden pocket, right? Something, meaning the coin, the price, will come down and test that golden pocket, right? This is where you would want to buy, somewhere in these levels, right? This would be ideal. But more than likely what's going to happen is going to come down, find support here again, and maybe it never goes lower than that, especially if that coincides with Bitcoin getting a bid back higher as well. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, why am I not? Now, let me zoom out even more. I've got one more coin that I want to show you all, but let me zoom out even more. Why am I not talking about Dog Whiff Hat? Why am I not talking about Floki? Why am I not talking about Pepe right now? Because these are hot altcoins, right? Because they're meme coins. And there's plenty of channels out there that are going to tell you what the next hot meme coin is. I personally wouldn't take too much advice from YouTube channels that are talking about meme coins. I think Telegram is probably the platform you want to be getting your info on meme coins from, just to be honest. But I'm not a meme coin guy, right? So you got to pick and choose the YouTube channels and the media outlets that you want to get your information from. Meme coins can make you a lot of money very, very quickly, right? But you can also, I heard you say it, you can lose a lot of money too, very, very quickly. And what it seems like is that much more people lose money in meme coins than make money. Now, if you're listening to me and you're chuckling to yourself, T-Shroom, I've made so much money in meme coins, you're an idiot. That's great. Keep making, if you're making money in some way that you think is sustainable, you think you have an edge on the market, right? You have some kind of pattern that you're trading, dude, don't stop. Seriously. Like, keep doing it. But if you're lying to yourself and you're thinking you're going to be a millionaire just one more meme trade away, right? Check yourself. Look deep within. Look deep within. You deserve better. You really do. Treat yourself, treat your finances better than that. Are meme coins cool? I think they are cool. I think meme coins are fun. I hold two. I hold Ordi and I hold Dogecoin, and I don't plan on selling those in anytime soon, right? But I'm not a meme coin trader. I'm not a meme coin investor. I don't spend a lot of time doing that. Okay. What I do spend a lot of time is looking at the top 100, the top 200, right? We discovered Caspa very early on. We're very proud of that. I bought Caspa initially at 5 cents, right? Currently, it's much more than that. It's 15 cents, okay? So am I like super foreign to buying low and selling high? No. Right? And making money is a big part of why I'm in crypto. Okay, so AIOZ, wait for a pullback, right? I've given you guys some decent ideas of levels. I think right here is probably a level to go ahead and snag a little bit, maybe 25%. Like if you're going to buy $1,000 worth of this, right? Which I don't know, that might be way too much for your portfolio. Might not be enough, right? Depends on how much money you got. But I would at least wait for this pullback down to here, to about 68 cents, right? And then if we start to break lower, maybe you sell that, or maybe you just hold on to it, right? And you maybe nibble again around the mid mark here, around 58 cents, and then you buy again at the golden pocket, right? So there's different strategies. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do it. Don't do exactly what I just said, right? But that's kind of a concept of how you would DCA into. You diversify your entry points so that you're not just buying all at one point, especially at the high, right? You're literally, if you were to buy today, you'd be buying okay, come on now. Here we go. You'd be buying 12% off the all-time high for this token, right? You know, it's better than 5% off the high, right? But it's probably not the best place to buy the high, right? Because what do you want to do? You don't want to buy high. You want to buy low. In the case of Bitcoin, it's different, right? You want to buy high and sell higher for Bitcoin because Bitcoin, this is not Bitcoin, right? This is AIOZ. This is something you probably haven't heard about maybe once or twice before I brought it to your attention. Right? But you never heard about it until today, more than likely. So you cannot treat it like Bitcoin. Bitcoin, buying at the all-time high is something that people do, right? Because and they hold it there because they don't have any exposure and because it's different, right? This is a speculative asset. This is something that this is right here, AIOZ. It's speculative in the sense that we don't know what's going to happen here. Now, there's been a bullish catalyst, a fundamental catalyst with its partnership with Alibaba. That's good. That's solid. That's rock solid, right? Or at least it's more rock solid than a lot of things. So anyway, I think you see the point that I'm making here. All right, let's get to the other altcoin here, the last 4 minutes of the show. This one is brought to me by way of the Wolf of All Streets channel, and they are covering this Opulus, right? So we're not going to really listen to this, but this is kind of what he was pointing out here is OPUL. So OPUL is the ticker, and essentially this is kind of cool. It's like tokenized music assets, TMA. That's not what it was. It was MFTs. Yeah, so MFTs. Is this like going to be the big music NFT exchange? I don't know. Who knows? But you could, there, but it's something, right? And it's being promoted here by the Wolf of All Streets. Sorry, I'm not selling it very well, am I? Look, I have no interest in whether you buy this or not. This is another one I don't have any exposure to, right? But let's look at the charts. OPUL. Right, so why am I even talking about these coins? Well, it's literally just because there's not a lot of news, right? So I thought, if I can't deliver you guys alpha on the top 10 or top 100 coins, let's go a little deeper and let's see what we can pull out here. So this is going back a good ways. So this coin's been around for a little while. Goodness. Yeah, since 2022. So this thing has a lot of upside potential. Goodness gracious. Okay. Okay. I mean, if this does well, and this even gets halfway to its all-time high, this would do very, very well. I'll go ahead and draw the percentage, even to the halfway point here. 1,400% gain. That would be pretty big. And then if it goes to all-time high, 3,400%. So be very careful with those numbers. Because you buy down here does not mean you're going to have whatever X that is. Right? But you can buy this one on the Exodus app. You can buy this one, AIOZ, on Upwork. On the Uphold app, which we have not a discount, but we have a code. We have a link in the description of this video that you can actually get. So if you're watching this video, there's a link to it, to the Uphold wallet right here. And you can buy Caspa and Uphold too. So that's pretty cool. If you don't have any Caspa, that's one that I would say that you should look and do some more research on as well for sure. But yeah, those are going to be the two altcoins here. I mean, again, I don't think that this Opulus, I don't know that this company is going to be the next Sony Records. I don't think it's going to be the Universal Studios of music for Web3, right? But it could be, right? And that's why it's getting a bit higher. That's why people are liking it. Now, if you look at this chart, it's been sideways all through the bear market, right? But so has Bitcoin, right? So has a lot of coins. It's been very subdued and very stable coin-esque, right? So now that it's starting to get a bid, but did get a bid back here in early 2023, it's something to think about. And it got bid all the way up to 575% from here to here. This is another 445%. So there's a chance that this thing tops out again at the previous 2023 high at 33 cents and then just goes back down, right? So there is that possibility. Now there's some margin here before we get there. So if you just wanted to try to trade that, that's something to think about. But overall, these are two projects that are coming across my desk, and I'm bringing them to you guys because they don't look like complete crap, right? They look like decent, right? But they're definitely not in the top 200, I don't believe. Actually, you know what? AIOZ might be in the top 200. Let me see really quickly. Here, you can come along with me on this journey of... Okay. No, dang, it is. It's number 99, so it's in the top 100. Yeah. So, at least AIOZ is in the top 100, but and it's got a pretty big bullish catalyst here, but I would say it's at a high. It's only 12% off the all-time highs, so I would wait for that pullback, and I went into detail. You can rewind the video if you haven't seen this yet, where I did some TA on it. But guys, be careful out there, right? Make sure you're staying hydrated. I say that in every show. Why? Because it's important. If your brain isn't properly hydrated, you're going to make little brain thoughts, right? You're going to make little brain decisions, unhydrated decisions. Make sure you're hydrated, and it's not hard. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're probably only a minute or 3 minutes away from going and getting water. or a sports drink, right? You need those electrolytes. And you hear me probably say stay hydrated, and you think I'm joking. I'm not. There's a reason I say it every time. It's important. So, are these coins that I pointed out here, are they going to go to the moon? Are they going to be the next Amazon, the next Google? Probably not, to be honest with you, right? But they are right now looking very bullish, and based on the charts, you could wait for pullbacks in both of them and get a little exposure. And based on historical trends of what we've seen in bull markets, these could potentially do pretty well as more retail investors come in. They're enticed by these offerings and they buy them. Guys, if you're trading, make sure that you keep your stop losses tight. We're going to be doing our 3 p.m. show later today. Very excited for that because we crossed that 10,000 subscriber mark very, very soon, very recently, as yesterday, right? And so we're going to be continuing that celebration. The party goes on for the bros, and we're going to be doing that today. So very much excited for that. And make sure that you're staying hydrated regardless of whether or not you're trading. All right, bros, we'll see you at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you go check out Piper Academy that's going live right now.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.